Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I have a DIY for you where I have made a heart garland. So this heart garland has actually been made out of clothing, and the reason that I made it out of clothing was just because I found two pieces in the charity shops recently that were in clearance. They were 50p a piece, so I bought two pieces and the fabric on them was so gorgeous. The colours are so nice, and this was the first piece of clothing I bought. So I bought this pair of trousers. As you can see, it's now missing a leg because I cut it up and turned it into something. And then I also had like a men's suit jacket, which was 100% linen. You know, the type that people wear on holidays and that sort of stuff, like the cream linen type suit jackets. So I also picked up one of those for 50p. It did have a big tear in it. That's probably why it was so cheap and on clearance. But yeah, it worked out perfectly to be able to make my little heart garland that I'm going to be showing you how to make today. The reason I wanted to put this in January is so that you could obviously transfer this, make this into Valentine's decor, that sort of stuff, or just any type of decor, as well as I'm sure some of you are going to be doing clear outs and that sort of stuff with your own wardrobe, just to be able to encourage you to look at the fabric and the composition of the pieces that you are maybe donating, throwing away. You know, if they've got a massive tear in, don't immediately think, oh, I've got to either use these for rags or throw them in a bin. Think outside the box a little bit. Say you've got a cotton t-shirt or cotton shirt, it's got a few stains on, it's not really good to use anymore or donate, and then you might think, oh, just cut this up, turn it into a bit of a rags, which that's always good, but why not repurpose it into a little heart garland or something like that as well, and then you can use it as decor. So it's like a win-win. You get to reuse and then you get to use your cheap decor that's gonna look gorgeous. So I'm going to show you how I make the little hearts to begin with quite an in-depth tutorial, just to show you how I get like the perfect shape heart, as I would call it. There's a few different ways to make hearts, but this is the preferred method that I use pretty much every single time. And then I'm going to show you how to put all those hearts together to make a kind of adjustable garland, which again is using the same technique that I like to use myself. So I'm just going to get straight on into the tutorial.
So this is the pair of trousers that I mentioned in my intro that I'm going to be using for the piece. So I went down to one of the legs and just cut up it just to lay it a little bit flatter so that it'll be easier to draw around the piece that I'm using. So the way that I'm getting my heart template is just from this die cutting thingy from my die machine, as it's the perfect size of the hearts that I want. You can make a template by printing them out on, you know, a piece of card and then cutting around them and that sort of stuff. You want to have two pieces of fabric exactly the same, and then you want to lay them on top of each other and go over to your sewing machine. Starting with a back stitch, I always start with a back stitch on the straight edge. I then go down to the point and then make a V upwards, twisting my kind of presser foot around so that it, you know, makes a nice angular bottom of a heart. The way that I do the round part is I make about 4 or 5 stitches, moving the presser foot around, then sewing a few more, and then so on. When I get to the top kind of V of the heart, I make sure to back stitch this as well, just to make sure it's fully secure, as this is something that can sometimes be a little bit stretched or, you know, a little bit holy when it comes to turning it the right size way round. You want to keep stitching around the other side, and then you want to back stitch around about 1 inch away from the previous one, so you're left with a nice gap to turn the shape right size way round, and then stuff through that as well. I find anything smaller than around about 1 inch can sometimes just take up way too much of your time, and yeah, it's harder to stuff it and all of that, and we don't want to be messing around. I then go and cut off the excess with pinking shears. You can just cut it off with normal scissors, but you want to make sure that if you are using normal scissors to make little slits around the rounded edges. I always make sure to leave a tab of fabric near that opening. As you can see there, the opening's on the left and I left a tab. I go all the way around, and then the one really important snip here is just to make a snip in that top V so that your fabric can fold the right way round really seamlessly and create the nice heart shape. When turning it the right size way around, you can use those tabs, which really help out at this point. You just sort of hold them and then poke it all through, and it helps again when sewing it up as well. But when you turn it the right size way around, you want to really press out the bottom point of the heart. If you have nails, you can just do this with them, that's what I do, or you can use your point of your scissors just to get that nice and kind of poked out, as this will really make a difference to the shape of your heart other than having it bunched up and that sort of stuff. The way I stuff my hearts is to take some polyester stuffing. You can just use old cushions, old pillows, old cut up toys, anything like that. Just reuse your stuffing or buy it new. And you want to fluff it out before putting it in, and then take small bits at a time and go to the farthest away kind of rounded bit of the heart from the opening, as this will make it easier. Once you have that stuffed out and all of the stuffing like moved around with your finger, pushing it in, making it nice and round, you'll then want to do the same to the other, and then you want to focus in on the point. You want to push it right down using your finger just to make sure that it's all nicely stuffed. Once completely stuffed to the brim, you'll then be able to pull your fabric tight and tuck in those 2 tabs. This really helps when sewing together. As you can see here, I just push them inside and it leaves a nice seam. You can then adjust them a little bit if you need it to be more rounded and that sort of stuff, and it really helps to give a seamless look. To make a seamless kind of fairly invisible stitch to stitch this up, you want to use a ladder stitch. In order to do this, you want to put your needle and thread in one end of the hole, then you want to poke it through one of the fabric folds, go over to the other one, making like a step on the ladder, as you can see here, making a step on the ladder, and post your needle through, making a stitch. It's really hard to explain, but hopefully you can follow my instructions on the video and see what I'm doing. You will then want to pull your kind of thread tight and then tie it off, and then that will close it all up. So I did mine in 2 different fabrics. The one on the right here is the one from the trouser, and then the one on the left there is 100% linen from the jacket that I was talking about. And in order to make all of these hearts into a garland once they're done, I use one of these giant doll making needles. This is a 15cm one. I always keep giant needles in my sewing kit because I do actually like to make dolls and plushes and that sort of stuff. So I always have one of these on hand, but they come in so useful when making garlands like this. So yeah. You want to thread through whatever string and that sort of stuff you want to use for your garland. So in this case, I'm using some white wool that I bought from Poundland. I just threaded it onto my needle, and then using that giant needle, I threaded it through each of the heart, alternating the colours as I went, just going right through the seams of them, one after another. Some of them I kind of missed the seams, so I had to go back in and out until I was happy, but I tried to keep them all in the same kind of position on the heart so that they lined up nicely once on the garland. So you can keep them all together like this. This will look absolutely beautiful on a dresser or something like that, but you can also then adjust them to be however, far apart or close together as you want. So I always make sure that my string is a little bit longer compared to where I want to put them, so then I can spread them out, I can put them closer together and adjust it as I go on, and then that helps you to get a really custom piece to your wherever you're putting it. I actually put mine above my log burner on this granite lintel that's there. I love the colours on it. I think it looks so nice and it complements the colours in the natural granite so well. The natural kind of fibres of the linen, oh my goodness, so gorgeous, and I'm just so happy with how this piece has turned out for my living room.
So I hope you have enjoyed today's video and have taken away a few little tips from it. I absolutely love how mine looks. I think the neutrals in here really kind of complement all of the other colours I've got going on, and it's sitting against the granite I really like, because it's like a nice soft, like, I don't know, it's nice soft, like whimsically, they look nice and inviting against the cold granite, I'm just staring at them now. But yeah, I love that. I think it looks really nice. So I'm really happy to have made it for myself and been able to share my tips with you today. So if you do make this, then please do tag me on Instagram. My handle and stuff like that is always down in the description down below, so you can just click through. Make sure to tag me so I can repost you on my stories. I would love to be doing that for you and putting you in my little highlights tab. Don't know, just really like doing that. So yeah, be sure to tag me or just send it to me via Instagram DM if you don't want to tag me and have it on your feed, obviously. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye!